Awesome. So, hi, everyone. I don't think anyone's here yet. um, so you want to talk about what you're reading?
Sure. My name's Tiffany. I'm from the Beach Bum Bookworm. My channel is mostly about cozy mysteries and romance. And today I'm listening to the 26th book in the Stephanie Plum series by Janet Ivanovich. I think it's not, I don't even actually know what the book is called. Oh, it's called Twisted 26.
Nice. Sounds fun.
It's a really fun series.
I've never read cozy mysteries. I don't exactly know what that even is.
Yeah, so they're murder mysteries, but they're very tame in like there's not a lot of graphic in the death scene, there's not gore, there's not a lot of violence. And the main character is usually an amateur sleuth. They're not a detective or investigator, so like it'll be like somebody who owns a bakery but then also just kind of like solves mysteries, or they're a florist but they also solve mysteries, or that sort of thing. They're really cute. There's a lot of punniness. There's a lot of, I don't know, I just find them hilarious. They're adorable.
Yeah, cool. I'll be reading this still. I made a good chunk yesterday, so that's good. I'm hoping to make a good chunk again today. It's the second book in the series, so yay. Let's see how much I get done.
Yeah, you did get a good chunk done yesterday. Yeah. That's awesome.
I barely started it when we did the live stream, and now I've got a good chunk done, so I'm hoping to get a good chunk done again today. So, yeah, that's what I'll be reading.
Awesome. So how long do you want your reading sprints to be? How long are you thinking?
I was thinking 20 minutes would be a good start.
Yeah, it's fine by me. Yeah, sounds good.
Right. When you want to do the first sprint?
You want to do it even right on the hour? I don't know how close mine says we're almost right on the hour.
Yeah. Fun.
All right, I'm going to get my headphones set up. Okay.
It's 2 o'clock here, which means it'll be 3 o'clock there. So I want to start?
Sure.
Okay, and then we'll come back in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Okay, have a good reading.
Yes, happy reading.
Oh, someone put a stake in me.
Hey, how'd these sprints go? It's muted.
Yep. Sorry. Thank you. Yeah. Mine was really good. My book is hysterical, so I'm really enjoying it.
That's good. My book's a little bit more on the intense side. But there have been some funny moments because there are some very sarcastic people in here. So that can get pretty funny at times.
Yeah. I'm at 71%, so I'm chugging along in this book pretty good.
Nice.
So I'm I'm happy.
Maybe you can even finish today.
It's that's the goal. That's the goal. So how often do you make videos for your channel?
Whenever I feel like it, I try to do it at least a couple times a week. Which I'm usually pretty good at keeping doing that. If I'm busy, maybe just one times a week. But yeah. So how about you?
I usually do 3 a week. I know Tiffany said, that she has had a big lapse. And I was thinking about that last night. I think the reason that I've stayed on track so far is that I really enjoy making them. I find
Yeah,
it,
me
I
too.
mean, the whole experience has been so fun for me and given me
Yeah.
something to do, especially during this time when we're kind of all cooped up.
Yeah.
So I have loved it. But I do batch recording where I record them on Sundays and then schedule them through the week, just because my work schedule doesn't really permit me to necessarily make and edit videos through the week. I don't think I'd be able to maintain it that way.
Yeah. Well, that's good. At least you are happy with what you're doing.
Yeah, I love it. And
Me
I was
too.
thinking about something you said. So I was thinking about that with Tiffany, and then I was thinking something you said. I knew you were like really young, don't get me wrong, because you said you were 21 yesterday?
Yeah.
But I just made the connection that you're 21 and have how many books that you've already written?
I've published 2 and I'm working on the 3rd.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. I don't know how I didn't make that connection. Like I said, I knew you were young, but that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself. I published my first book at 20, and then I published my second book at 21. Yeah, so
that's crazy. Yeah, that's really incredible.
Thank you. It's something I really enjoy. I just always loved writing my entire life. I loved it as much as I loved reading, and I always knew I wanted to be an author. Most people don't know what they want to do at a young age, but me, I always knew I wanted to write. So, yeah, and then I finished a book that I really wanted to get published, and my sister's boyfriend actually gave me the idea of self-publishing through Amazon, and so I tried it, and it worked. So
that's incredible. So is that what you want to do full time, is write?
Yes, if my books can ever make it that far, then definitely.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, so.
Well, I don't know how people do it. I admire people. I absolutely love reading. It's like my favorite thing to do. And I've been a huge reader since I was a child. You and I have talked about this a lot, but I grew up in a royal community in Illinois. Yeah. And for those people that don't know, it's an Amish community. So there's just not much there. And there's a public library, but they don't really have a whole lot, or they didn't when I was a child. I can't say in the last, and Walden Books was a thing when I was little. It was like a big chain bookstore at the time was Walden Books. And they had one at the Mattoon Mall, inside the mall. And so it's not near as big or a big chain like Barnes and Noble or Books A Million, but it was a big chain at the time. And I was allowed to get like 1 book a week or something like that. And I would once I ran out of books, I'd read like anything I could find, the back of cereal boxes, just random stuff just to be reading. But writing, I want to love it, and I should be good at it because I read so much, but I am not. I am not. So I admire people even more that do and can. And I think about that when I talk about books that I didn't enjoy as much, I still think, man, be cognizant of all the work and hard work that they've put into this book.
Yeah, definitely. So do you have any plans for the week?
My work schedule is really, really crazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm in social services, and I used to do adolescent substance abuse counseling for family and individuals. And now I do a cognitive behavioral therapy group with young children from ages 6 to 11. But because it's a group setting, we have to do it at night once the kids get done with school. So my schedule is like 11 to 7 or 12 to 8 or, and it kind of varies each day of the week depending on what time the group starts. But I don't have a normal like 9 to 5. I'm constantly like, so it just doesn't lend a lot of time to plan a lot of things because it's just all over the place.
True. You just do what you can when you can do it.
Exactly. Exactly. What about you?
I don't really know yet. My work schedule is kind of 9 to 5. I work 7 in the morning to 3:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. So yeah, so that's all figured out. And after work, I just do whatever I'm in the mood for at the time, whether it's reading, watching TV, working on my book. So yeah.
Yeah, that was my favorite schedule when I was doing the substance abuse counseling. That was in Illinois, but my schedule was set, and I was 7 to 3:30 because it was a residential facility. So I had been there so long. I had worked the other shifts too, but I had been there long enough that I was 7 to 3:30, and I loved it. I loved that shift.
Oh, yeah, me too. I don't like waking up that early because I'm not a morning person. But at the same time, I don't want to work later because then I'll be working throughout the afternoon, and I like to get off earlier so I can have the afternoon to myself. So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I just like getting my day done, and I am a morning person, so that doesn't bother me.
Oh, yeah. But I kind of like what I do besides the writing. I work at Herf Jones, which is in Arcola, where you said you grew up, and that's what. So I end up going to Arcola just about every day for the most part of the weekends because that's where I work, and it's where they make cap and gowns. So yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. I didn't realize that had changed names. It used to be something else.
Yeah, my dad said it used to be called something else too, so
yeah,
I guess it changed names. I don't know.
Gotcha. So what do they make there?
Caps and gowns and tassels.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, there's like 2 different areas: the place where they actually make it, and then the warehouse where they kind of send all the orders and stuff. That's the area where I work. So I'm not actually making them. I'm sending the orders to the schools. So yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like a lot of the people there, so that's nice.
That's always a plus in any job because, man, if you have colleagues that you have to work, side by side with and you don't mesh well, it can be,
a challenge.
Yeah, it really, really can.
Yeah, but a lot of people I work with are really nice. We talk and work, obviously, but we're all good at multitasking, so we talk and work, and it's nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool.
I misplaced my phone. Oh, there it is. It was right in front of my face. So you want to start another one at 2:40?
Sure.
Okay. It's 2:29 now, so.
Awesome. I did my first tag today. So I said that I record my videos on
Yay!
Sunday. So I recorded this morning and I did do that baby it's cold outside tag. And I mean I think it went fairly well.
That's good.
Was like I said, I think I had in my head just I was building it way more than it needed to be. It was really fun once I got,
Yeah.
once I got to do it. Because I love watching book tags. It's one of my favorite videos to watch.
Yeah. And I mentioned, I told you before that I love making them and watching them and creating them. So they're just my favorite tags, period. I just love them.
Yeah.
So I cannot wait to watch your video when you upload it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And it was really funny because the first question was like, so it was cold outside tag. And the first question was like, what book brings you comfort? And it went from that to the very next question was like, what book do you want to be buried with? I was like, this escalated very quickly. I was like, I'm just kidding, but it just seemed so funny. I was like, whoa, we went from like, what brings you all this comfort to what book you want to be buried with? Like,
wow.
But
I haven't made that one yet. Maybe next year around Christmas time I'll make it.
Yeah, I figured, it was still, cold weather outside. I would just give it a go,
Definitely.
Because being in Florida, it's never going to be the most opportune time to make it. And so I was like, everywhere else is having big winter storms and whatnot. So I thought, I'll go ahead and
definitely.
go ahead and make it.
And it doesn't matter like when you make it, even if it's kind of a Christmassy themed or Halloween themed, it doesn't matter when you make it. It's just whenever you feel like, I know I made the Monster High book tag and I wanted to wait and do it around October for Halloween because Monster High. But then I ended up caving because I was just so excited to film it. I was like, I'm not waiting that long, so I just went ahead and did it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that it matters as much as, I really want to do the Gilmore Girls tag. I've been seeing that, and there's just a bunch of them. I just love watching them. And people are really creative. The people that make those are just really, really creative. I know you said you've made a couple and I don't know. They also in the readathons, the things that people create readathons out of, the subjects and stuff, people are just so creative.
Yeah.
And I'm just in awe when I watch YouTube of how innovative and creative people are. Even with their TBR, people will have like big elaborate games. I saw somebody who do you play a lot of board games?
Sometimes, yeah.
I saw somebody we do, my husband and I do, well, before the pandemic when we could see people, we played a lot of board games. And have you ever played Ticket to Ride? It's a train game.
No.
You like try to create your train track for a destination from one destination to another. And everybody else is also trying to. So, it's really a lot of fun. But I saw somebody create a TBR like Ticket to Ride game that created their TBR. I've seen people do TBRs like with games like with Spin the Wheel. I mean, just all sorts of things. I'm like, oh, I just picked my TBR based on what I wanted to read.
Yeah, that's how I do. I don't think I can do a game because if it picks a book that obviously it's going to pick a book that I eventually want to read, but it might not be a book I want to read yet. So I don't want to do that. I mean, it's fun, something fun to watch, but I don't think I'll ever do one because I just like to pick whatever I think I want to read that month. So
yeah, that's why. So like for I did do a game to kind of diversify my reading where I made like a jar of all different tropes and subjects.
Yeah.
But I'm only picking one a month. So it still feels like, even though I'm trying to branch out a little, one a month is obviously not going to take me away from everything else that I want to read. Like that's doable. But if I did it like with my whole TBR, I'm like you, I'm like, I just want to read what I want to read. And sometimes I don't even know. Sometimes I don't even know what I want to read until the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for me, I read mostly series, so it's a little easier. So like this month, I was like, well, I definitely want to read this series, you know. So I was like, you know, that makes it easier to know what I want to read throughout the month. So
Yeah. Yeah, cozy. So I read mostly cozy mystery and romance, and both of those usually are part of series. So I as well read a lot of series.
Yeah, a lot of fantasies are a part of series too, because they have all that. Because the first book is so much about world bending and plots and stuff. So because of that, you know, you don't even get into the good part of the story until halfway in the middle. So there's just so much they need to do throughout several more books. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. So I honestly don't know. This is going to seem like a really weird, silly question, but because I don't read either, I really don't know. What is the difference between sci-fi and fantasy?
Sci-fi, I don't actually read sci-fi. I mean, I've never have before, but fantasy is a lot about witches and vampires and stuff like that. Sci-fi is more about aliens and other planets.
Okay. So fantasy is more like a paranormal type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I really didn't know when people like talk about, because I don't read really either. And when I kind of think about the subjects I don't read, I would like kind of lump all those together. I don't like, even in like my romance books or whatever, like I'm not a real big into well, not real big. I'm not at all into like the shapeshifters, and I'm not into like all of those things. And so I really didn't know the difference between like what was considered sci-fi and what was considered fantasy to people.
Yeah. Oh, we have a comment from Spicy Miso Ramen. I'm sorry if I say your name wrong. But hello. Hi.
Hello.
There you go. Now you can see it.
Yeah, I guess I didn't have the comments highlighted, so I didn't see it come in. Hello. What are you? Tell us what you are reading. We are going to be sprinting in about 3 minutes, but we'd love to know what you are reading. I love the name, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a really great name.
So, are you hoping to get your book done this sprint or later today if you can't get it done?
I will definitely be getting it done today, but I would love to get it done during this sprint. And awesome. I'm at 71%, so there's a good possibility. Good. Yeah. Thank you. It's my favorite food. Got you.
Ah.
Got you. So is fantasy like dragons and that kind of stuff included in fantasy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've never really read much sci-fi. I've been strictly fantasy most of my life. It's just kind of my thing. I don't branch out of it very often.
Yeah.
And the first time I did really branch out of it was when I read my all-time favorite series in 4th grade, Seekers. And I only read it because it was about bears, and I'm in love with bears. So I decided to give it a try, and then I fell in love with it, and I like the author's other series, Warriors, and I also want to try a couple other of the author's favorite series, some of their series. So yeah.
So is Seekers fantasy?
No, it's like a mix of action and adventure.
See, I guess I wouldn't be able to distinguish those either between fantasy and action and adventure. Like, well, interesting.
Fantasy has all the mythical creatures like witches, dragons, vampires, all that. And then action is just fight scenes,
Okay. Yeah.
And I mean, I think it's more on the adventure side than the action side because it's about the 4 main characters who go on an adventure trying to find where they belong in the world. And so, but there is fight scenes because they do run into enemies and stuff along the way because they live in the wild. So yeah.
Gotcha.
What was the first fantasy book you read that you got hooked on the genre? Oh, first thing that comes to my mind is Harry Potter. Okay, that's definitely the first thing, no doubt. And then I fell in love with it. So.
And I, Spicy, am not normally a fantasy reader. The reason I'm asking so many questions is because I'm looking to branch out and diversify my reading in many different ways this year. And one of them is being more open to fantasy. So I was asking a lot of questions, but I normally don't read fantasy. What about you? What is your favorite fantasy? And what are you reading now?
It's 2:40. You want to start another sprint?
Sure.
And then we'll do more comments after that.
Yeah, sounds good.
So, how about till 3? Another 20 minutes?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Hey.
I remembered this time.
Yay.
How was your sprint?
Good. It was good. Yeah. We were introduced to a new character, and this is definitely a fantasy book, but they did bring some real life events alive. Just put a little twist to it, because they brought in a character, Joan the Arc, but they made it so she never died and she became immortal. So, which was a nice twist. Yeah. How about your sprint?
Good. I'm at 80% exactly.
Nice.
And it's as always and as expected. The series is just hilarious. I think I said she's a bounty hunter, but she's like a really inept bounty hunter, like not good at it. And she has a sidekick who's just a mess too. And so they're constantly getting in scrapes and all sorts of crazy situations. And
I bet.
It's so funny. I saw a question for me from Spicy, but Spicy, I don't know how to comment on when somebody else is the host. So it says, Tiffany, what was the first romance book you read that you got hooked on the genre? And thank you for the question. I think I really started out very mild with like Debbie Macomber. If you've ever read her, she has a bunch of different series that are considered romance, which I didn't know when I first started reading them, but I loved them. And then I've slowly definitely got into to other stuff along the way. So Spicy, let me know your favorite romance authors, because I have a bunch too.
HP was my first as well. Yes, definitely. To answer your former question, I'm mostly into sci-fi now, because you two are just talking about the differences. Yeah.
Excellent.
Currently, I'm reading 4 books: Kitra, The Left Hand of Darkness, The Story of O, and I'm rereading the Animorphs series because I never finished them as a child. Nice.
That's awesome. 4 books going at once. I usually read 2, around 2, but 4, that's I don't think I could juggle all those. Do you read more than 1 book at once?
I have before. My mom and I had started this book club, and because I told you she was trying to get into reading a little bit more, but so I would read like what book was for our book month thing, because we would change. One month I chose, one month she chose, and then when I was done with that book and she was reading it, I would read a different book. So yeah. But we kind of changed up the book club a little bit because we have different tastes. So basically, she'll read whatever book she wants. I'll read whatever book I want, and then we'll come to each other and talk to each other about them. So.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so I have done it before, but I do prefer to read like 1 book at a time.
Yeah.
How about you?
I usually have 2 going. Just because sometimes I'm not in the mood for one or the other, or maybe the format's different or something like that. But 4 books, and especially if they're all the same genre, I'd be mixing characters in my head. I'd be like, whoa, I thought this person was on a quest and died. What the, I know that.
Johara, what inspired you to write your Jasmine Press series? What did the process of starting to publish look like for you as a self-published author?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Yeah. I don't really know what. Honestly, when I come up, I have so many ideas for different book series, and I already have a lot of the characters figured out for series in the future, and I don't really know what inspires me to do this. I'm just doing my own thing, and then all of a sudden this idea pops into my head, and I write it all down so I don't forget, because I know me, I will forget. So I don't really know what inspired me to write Jasmine Press, and I don't even know how I came up with the name. It just kind of came to me. But with the publishing process, it was a little difficult at first. I did it through KDP, so I could publish it through Amazon. I have paperback format and Kindle format, and it was a little difficult to figure it out at first, especially since I'm not tech savvy like at all. Like you were saying, I'm like terrible with
Yeah, I'm not.
technology. And it was a little confusing, and my mom was there to help me, and she has like zero patience. No offense, I love you, Mom, but she has zero patience. Okay. So she was starting to get aggravated because she couldn't figure it out, and then she was like, "How about we just figure this out tomorrow?" I was like, "No, want this book published tonight." And because of that determination, I got it published that night. So,
that's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So it was a little aggravating at first, but now that I know it's better, when I published my sequel, it was a lot easier and it took a lot less time to do it. So definitely.
Spicy, are you looking to publish a book? Tell us if you are and
Oh,
what kind
yeah,
of book
definitely.
it is. We want to
Okay.
know.
Yeah, definitely. Yay, made it. HP was my first series as well. Nice.
Hello.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
What book are you reading?
Yes, please tell us. Please tell us what you are now reading. Yes, we would love to know. Since you're just coming in, I am reading the 26th book in the Stephanie Plum series by Janet Ivanovich.
I'm reading the second series, second book in the series, The Magician, from the series The Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel. So Harry Potter fans out there, this is a spin-off of Harry Potter because it's about Nicholas Flamel, who was mentioned in Sorcerer's Stone. So it's kind of a prequel series, but yeah, definitely check it out. Okay. Tiffany, forgive me, this is my first introduction to you. Are you a writer as well, whether published or still in the first stages of writing?
No. I am a pure reader. I admire people who write. Johara and I were talking about this a lot before you came in. I really admire people that are writers, and I feel like in my heart I should be a great writer because of all the reading that I do and how much I love it, but I'm not. I mean, I can do it like grammatically correct for when I was in college and all that stuff, but to do it just no. No, I'll stick to the reading. You stick to the writing, I'll stick to the reading.
Sounds good. Oh, wow. That's awesome, Johara. Thank you. I'm trying to finish Truly Devious right now. Ah, nice. I never read that.
Yeah, I don't know what that is either.
Yeah. So tell us a short description in the comments and how you're liking it so far.
And who wrote it? Tell us who the author is, because I don't know.
Yeah. I'm in my second draft of a space opera sci-fi. I'm looking to traditionally publish, however, because self-publishing isn't for me, but I have mad respect for those who do it. Great. It sounds like a nice book. So definitely let me know when you publish it. Yeah,
that is really cool. That is really cool. I have mad respect for those who do it. That's neat.
Yeah, I know there's this thing going around on Twitter kind of recently. People were kind of trashing people who self-publish, saying they're not real authors. And that kind of broke my heart a little bit. But I was like, but I'm a self-published author. So
yeah, it's kind of this. I feel that way. I feel about the self-published authors the same way I feel about people who talk about the different formats of reading. Reading's reading. Just read and have fun and enjoy it. Read what you want, enjoy what you want, read it how you want, and if you don't like that, that's it's all lumped together to me. And I'm like, if you don't like a certain format or you don't like a certain trope or that's cool, but don't bring everybody else down that does. Exactly. It's okay. I don't know. I don't know what all that hostility is about.
Exactly. I'm not a fan of audiobooks or ebooks, but I respect people who do, because it is easier for some people like you and the other Tiffany and my sister who's not a big reader but is now actually getting into reading because of audiobooks. And I respect people who do like audiobooks or ebooks. They're just not for me. So,
right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I just feel like it's all lumped together. I don't know. Everybody do you. And
exactly.
I mean, it's all about having fun. So enjoy it and do what you want. And if you don't enjoy it, then don't do that. But
don't bring everyone else down.
Right. Don't. Yeah. I think that's saying it as about as much as needs to be said about it. Is exactly. And I think the same thing for all the publishing thing, because I don't get into a lot of that Twitter stuff, but I see it all the time.
Yeah.
And there's always a lot of, book drama that I'm just like, what? Why is this a thing?
Right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. New comment. Maureen Johnson is the author. It's about a private school where murderers were committed back in the 30s, and a new student present day is trying to solve it. Nice.
Oh, that sounds really interesting, actually. Started slow, getting much better. I'm going to have to write that one down. That actually sounds like something I would like.
Nice. And a lot of books start out slow, especially if there's a part of a series. The first book always starts out slow because they have all those character introductions, all the explaining they have to do. But as long as it gets better, then...
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I say we do the next sprint at 3:20. Or, yeah.
Yeah, whenever.
All right. So, yay. So you excited to finish your book, Tiffany?
I am. And so I'm at 80% on that. And then I think I'm going to start a cozy mystery series that's about a winery. So the sleuth will be, I think she owns a winery, but she's also going to be solving these murder mysteries. I just love them. They're so fun. And have you ever watched, so you were saying that you didn't really know what a cozy mystery was, and I kind of explained a little bit, but then I started thinking about it. And have you ever watched like Murder, She Wrote or
I know
Columbo
of it,
or
but I've
anything
never
like that?
seen it.
There's a kind of like a good TV version of what a cozy mystery would be in like book form. And actually Murder, She Wrote is a book series that is still written to this day by actually a man. And then they title it, so his name is Donald Bain. And then they say it's by Donald Bain and Jessica Fletcher, which is the fictional character from Murder, She Wrote that Angela Lansbury played.
Oh.
So how long do you think that it will take you to finish up your book? Tomorrow, the next day? What do you think you got?
I'm honestly not sure. I'm still trying to finish this series by the end of the month. It's kind of, the clock's ticking because the month's coming to a close soon. But I don't know. We will see. I want to get at least half of it done today, if not more. So maybe the other half tomorrow after work.
Yeah. And February is a short month of all months,
Yeah.
So
definitely.
One day doesn't seem like that much, 2 days, but when you're trying to get 6 books done, it's like, wow, yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm the exact opposite. I can't wait for the new month because I'm reading a series through a library app that we've talked about a lot on here, that Hoopla app, and I've run out of credits. So my new credits start over March 1st. And so I'm counting down for March 1st just so I can get the next book in the series.
Yeah. After this, I am definitely going to read the sequel I just got in the mail. Is the sequel to the Shadow Realm Chronicles. It's someone that I actually have spoken to before. I've never met in person. I've spoken to through Wattpad, actually. She's reading my books. I'm reading hers, kind of give each other feedback and stuff, kind of have that deal going on. And, yeah, so she is also a self-published author through Amazon like me. So after this series, I'm going to check out her second book, which she just published. So, yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, I think it's really neat when people in the same field support each other and kind of, do those things. I think that's really, really awesome.
Yeah. So Spicy and Gisela, I hope I'm not saying your name wrong. I'm sorry if I am. How's your reading going? Are you planning on finishing it soon? We would love to know. Found you guys yesterday. Just watched your cozy mystery explanation video, Tiffany.
Yes. What'd you think? What do you think of what a cozy mystery is? I hope I sold you on it. There's so many themes. So if you're still not sold, but you like a certain theme, there's you can find anything out there. And I have another series called Spotlighting Cozies where I look at the different themes and then talk about the series that are out there. Like I've done spotlighting British cozies, spotlighting culinary cozies, because like there's a theme for anything and everything. It's crazy.
Nice. So, you said that tags are your favorite videos to make. What's your favorite video or to watch? What's your favorite videos to make?
I really enjoy making wrap-up videos, which I know people are kind of getting away from, but I get to talk about the books that I read, which is always fun. But I also like making the what's coming out videos because I do a what's coming out for the next month in cozy mysteries and in romance. I like those videos, but that's a personal thing because I get to see all the new books that are coming out that I want to read.
Yeah.
What about you?
Oh, me, I love making and watching tags, like I mentioned.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, Agatha Christie. She is the queen. She is the pioneer of cozy mysteries. Oh, great.
It depends for me. Sometimes I can read it fast. Also, depending on how into the book I am, also helps, And also, if I get really busy and I can't find time to read at the moment, that also slows me down. And I also want to take time to write my books, so that also takes a little time away from reading. Plus, I work, so it just kind of depends on what's going on in my life at the moment. But if I'm really into it and I have enough time, I can become a pretty fast reader. So.
And we've talked a lot about this. I've been almost exclusively doing audiobooks in the last few months because I have been having eyesight issues and it seems to be progressing in whatever is going on. And I put off going to the eye doctor because I don't want to hear them. I already wear no line bifocals and I'm way too young, but I don't want to hear what the next step is. So
oh, wow.
I'm probably prolonging in a bad way because, if I would just do it, they could probably correct it. But so I've been doing a lot more audio books, which has sped up my reading so much. Plus, I like to crochet, and so I can do that like while I'm listening to my audiobook. And so I really, really enjoy that. But because I've been doing so much more audio spicy, it's made me way more fast in my reading. And I've been reading way more. Like I made my Goodreads this year goal. We talked about this yesterday. I made it 200, which seems crazy. Even for me, it seems crazy, but I'm home so much more because of the pandemic, because I have some health issues that I have to really, really be very careful. And until more people have the vaccine, until I have the vaccine, that sort of thing. So still, even though I'm in Florida where there's absolutely no restrictions, there's no restrictions here. The governor is wide open. I still have to take those precautions. So I'm home all the time. So if I'm not at work, I'm home where I can probably be reading, which has made me a lot more productive.
Yeah. She's sold. She loves it.
Thank you. That is awesome.
So yeah, Cozy Mystery sounds nice. I don't know if it's something I'll check out, but if I'm ever looking for a new genre, if I get bored with fantasy, I'll give it a try. Who knows, I might like it.
Who knows? And they're definitely like lighter reads because, like I said, they're really kind of like sweet, fluffy, that sort of thing. So they're lighter reads if you just need like a palate cleanser too.
Yeah.
Those would be good for that.
So is this the last book? You said the book you're reading right now is a part of a series, right? Is this the last book in the series?
The last book that's out right now, because
okay.
I'm always caught up. I'm always waiting for the next one.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, it's not the last one. I guess it could be. It's number 26. I mean, she's got to, wrap it up somewhere. But until she does, I'm in for it because I love them.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of times, by the time I get to a series that's on my TBR, it's usually over. So I usually don't have to wait for the next one. am gonna finish Warrior soon, and there are, oh god, how many? I don't even know how many books there are. There are 36 plus 13 super editions plus several novellas and mangas. I'm not gonna read the mangas, but I'm gonna read everything else. So there's a lot of books, and they're not even done yet.
Wow,
So,
that's a lot of books in a series. I'm normally not.
Coming out.
I'm normally way more like you, Jahara, where I'm not caught up in a series or waiting on the next one. It just so happens that I am in this one, but most series I'm not. I'm 2 or 3 behind, something like that.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of books in a series.
And there's more coming out this year to boot.
And sometimes I feel like, just like with TV shows, it can go too far. Like, it can be like, okay, they needed to stop at here. You know what I mean? Like, it was so good. It was such a great series, but know when to end it. It's kind of that, like I said, TV shows do it too. What is that called? Jump the shark. Like, just don't go crazy. Just end it on a good note and go out like on top,
Like what we were talking about with reboots and stuff, how they need to stop making those. It's the same thing, they need to stop. That's why the series that I'm working on, this is the last book. It's gonna end in a trilogy because I don't want to be one of those authors that keeps just, keep making it going until it's kind of just, not as good. I wanted to end it on a high note, so that's what I'm going to do. But yeah, I definitely agree. It's 3:22, so let's go. So we should start the sprint if that's okay with you.
Sure.
How about till 3:42?
Sounds good.
All right. So let's start reading, and then I can't wait to hear how everyone's reading sprints went. Okay.
All right. Happy reading.
Happy reading to you too. You're muted again.
It looks like Spicy said that she was going to be ducking out, so I wanted to make sure we said goodbye.
Glad you came.
Yes, thank you for coming. We're going to be, and Johara's going to be with me, and one more person named Tiffany from Masquerade Chick, who is awesome. She couldn't be with us today, but she's going to be doing another live sprint with us next Friday on my channel at the Beach Bum Bookworm with Johara and myself at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
So tune in for that.
Definitely. So how was your sprint?
It was really good. I didn't get as much done this time because my husband came in from work and I was talking with him for a few minutes. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to finish this book during our sprints, which is really exciting.
Nice.
How was yours?
That's good. It was good. Yeah. A lot's going on. Yeah, it moves scenes because there's like a lot of different scenes going on. You know, there's like 2 different villains and they're in 2 different areas. Then the heroes have all split up. One hero was kidnapped, and then the other hero split up, and the hero was kidnapped to Alcatraz. So.
Oh. Interesting.
She can actually see and speak to ghosts. So there's a lot of ghosts around that area. But yeah, a lot going on. It's fun.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. So, Gisela, how did your sprints go? Did you get a lot done of your book? We would love to know.
Gisela said earlier that she loved Agatha Christie. Gisela, what kind of other, so you found cozy mysteries, all that stuff, but what kind of books do you normally like to read? What are your go-to genres? Hopefully cozy mysteries will be one in the future. But what are your go-to genres? We'd love to know.
Definitely.
So I'm still thinking about that book tag I did. So what do you think is your comfort read, Johara? So I took comfort read and I was like, man, that could be anything. Like, because I was thinking, what is my comfort read like when I'm sad? Or what is my comfort read when, like, you know, I'm bummed and I just need a laugh? Or what is my comfort read when it's really cold outside? Because the tag was cold outside. Yeah. It can mean, like, it could fit so many different things, which I kind of liked because sometimes I have a hard time coming up with books. So I liked that there was numerous interpretations that I could make with that question.
Definitely. Well, when someone asks me what my favorite book is, there's a good 6 that comes to mind, but my all-time favorite, which is also my comfort read, has to be Seekers. Definitely, just Seekers I love it so much. My YouTube name is named after Seekers. And the great thing about that is that the main characters are 4 different bears: a polar bear, 2 brown bears, and a black bear. And so they travel around the world. They've been everywhere, so it fits just about any other weather because they've been in the polar bear's habitat with ice. They've been in the forest. They've been so they've just been everywhere, and so it's pretty much a good all year kind of read, and I love it. So yeah, that's definitely my comfort read.
So each book is about a different type of bear. Is that what it is?
Well, they're the main characters, and each chapter is in a different one of their point of views, and eventually they all meet up and go on this journey together. And my favorite thing about it is that it's about their friendship more than anything. How they're willing to risk everything for each other, because all the other bears don't really hang out with other types of bears, so they're kind of big label outcasts because they all hang out together. So yeah, definitely. Okay. Leo says Twilight Saga series is what he's reading.
Nice.
I'm not a fan of Twilight, no offense. I don't really like it, but to each their own. You like it, good for you.
I've never read it, but that's and you and I have talked about this. I'm not a big vampire whatever that would be considered, vampire, witch, any kind of paranormal stuff. I have a hard time suspending disbelief sometimes, so maybe that's why I don't get into them as much. But I mean, it was insanely popular, so I'm glad you're enjoying it. Gisela said she finished one chapter. That's awesome.
Nice.
That's awesome. Gisela, when we were
all enjoying your books.
Yes. When we were talking earlier, we had asked you what are your go-to genres that you like to read?
There are just so many.
I know.
Everyone has different tastes.
I know. But that's what makes BookTube and some of these communities so cool, is that there's so many different varieties that even though I might read something that a lot of people don't read, or so I can always still find some people that do and want to talk about those books, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, definitely. She says she reads a lot of YA, nonfiction, crime, and history books too. I'm getting back into romance and mysteries. Nice.
Awesome. That's awesome. The other girl that's normally with us, Tiffany, from her channel's Masquerade Check, she reads a lot of YA. So she'll be with us on Friday night, but she reads a lot of contemporary and YA. Nonfiction crime, I think it's so interesting, and even like the like investigation shows, but I can't watch them or read them because it gives me, I mean, I'm a scaredy cat. You and I talked about it before. I mean, anything can scare me. Like the movie Coraline, I couldn't sleep for, I can't even tell you how long. And that's like a kid's movie. The buttons, that crap is creepy. It's the button lady. I don't know. Creepy.
I've never seen it. Never seen it. My mom is big in nonfiction crime, and she watches Forensic Files and Snapped and stuff like that. And now that she's getting into reading a little bit more, that's kind of where she's heading to, and that as well. So
yeah,
that's the only book series that's better in movie form. I think she's talking about Twilight. I don't like the movies either. I especially didn't like the casting with Edward and Bella. No offense, but they can't really act. Well, I mean, Robert Pattinson did good in Harry Potter, but didn't really like him in Twilight. But I don't know. I didn't like the story itself. But that's just my preference. So.
Yeah, but I do agree that there's not very many movies that are better than the books by any stretch of the imagination. There are a couple authors that I can think of, and it's only because like the person that comes right off the top of my head is John Grisham. He writes lawyer thrillers type of thing. Like there's always a trial and of a like controversial case and everything like that. And he has a lot of movies that were popular in like I don't know if it was late 90s or 2000s or what, but it's been quite a while now. But it was like The Firm and a bunch of movies like that, and they were really good. They're to me, that's one of the only ones that I can think of where I always preferred the movies over his books. But it was only because his books were so long-winded that I couldn't hardly read them. Like he would talk about DNA for 65 pages. That was so scientific that really, unless you were a scientist or a medical doctor, you wouldn't understand. Nobody cared about. And all he needed to say was the one sentence, the DNA didn't match. I'm like, are you kidding me? We went through, I can't do it. So I think that's why I preferred his movies. But other than that, I can't think of anybody. I agree with Gisela. The movie is never better than the book. Can you think of any that you think the movie was better than the book? It's rare. For me.
It is rare. I think they did really good with the Harry Potter movies. I won't say it's better than the books, but I love the movies. But usually the book is better. I have found that whenever there's a TV show, I like the TV show more than the book. But I think that's only because I watched the TV show before I even knew there was a book. And when the book doesn't align with it, I just didn't like it. Like Pit of the Liars and the Vampire Diaries were both books, but I didn't know that when I got to the shows. And the books were so different that I couldn't get into it because I already fell in love with the shows.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It seems like they're doing a lot of I mean, it's always been, but I feel like lately they're turning a lot of books into movies.
Yeah.
Coming out,
Yeah.
soon and all that.
And
we were talking.
Huh?
Go ahead, please.
Okay. There's so many books, and it's just like, so instead of making all these reboots like we were talking about earlier, how about there's so many thousands of books that have a lot of fans and a pretty good fan base. Why not find some of those to turn into movies and do a good job, though? Don't wreck it, but do a good job and make it like the book,
Absolutely. And that I was thinking about that discussion when I was thinking, like, we talked yesterday about villains and backstories, and I was going to ask you guys in the discussion, do you like villain backstories? We were talking about it, and to me, I think it really depends on so many things in order for that to work.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree. It also depends on who the villain is and what they have done to see if they have the potential for a backstory,
I know, absolutely. So she's talking about Grisham. I just prefer his movies over his books, but I love James Patterson books. I love how he writes. I love his short chapters. I'm really a fan of I like his Alex Cross series a lot. And then I also like his Women's Murder Club series from James Patterson. And I like his individual reads too. But he writes so many books. Do you read James Patterson, Johara?
I don't think so. I don't think I've ever read one.
He writes so many books that he has a ton of ghostwriters.
Oh, wow.
And depending on his collaboration of who his ghostwriter is a big deal for me, because now there's certain ones that I know if I see James Patterson and such and such, I'm like, oh, I don't like that one. I won't like it because I don't like that that writer. But I like some of his individual stuff too. I think he's a really good writer.
Aaron Hunter, the author of Seekers, is actually a pen name for 3 different authors that work together for all the books.
Oh, okay.
Because there are a lot of books, so yeah. Love the Vampire Diaries, the show. Also can't stand the books. Yes, I'm not alone. I just couldn't get into the books. Same with Pit of the Liars, the books were just so different, and the character descriptions were nothing like the actors on the show, and they changed so much. It's like a completely different story altogether. So,
and that makes a huge difference when you've pictured something in your head so different. Because the thing that I think of is this was years ago, but I read Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code, and then the movie was coming out, and I had already read the book, really loved the book, and went and saw the movie. And I enjoyed the movie, don't get me wrong, but I could not get past Tom Hanks playing the main character. And I love Tom Hanks, but he is not anything like I had pictured in my head. And it was so far off that I just couldn't make it the connection. So I didn't care for it because I can never see him as the professor. I was just like, no, that's not right.
Definitely.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
I mean, it's not just with book and movie adaptations too. Like have you ever seen the TV show Walker, Texas Ranger? It's kind of an older show.
I know what it is. I don't know if I've seen very many, but I know what it. Yeah.
Well, they recently made a reboot. It just started, and the person playing Walker is being starred by Jared. I have no idea how to pronounce his last name, but he played on Supernatural, and he's a good actor. He is, but that role was made for Chuck Norris. Like, seriously, I don't think Jared could pull off Cordell Walker. I just don't think he can, and I don't know. So
yeah, it really makes a big difference when you've just got it and you're locked a character in your head as this person, or this is what they need to be like, and it's not.
Yeah,
it's just it's really, I agree. Is there any reboot you would want to see?
I don't think so. I mean, the reboots I have seen weren't very good because they've either changed it completely or changed one of my favorite characters too much. And I think they should leave a good thing alone. I don't want to see a reboot of anything.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of reboots, but the one thing that I can think of that I would want to see, because I'm like you, when we talked about it earlier, I think this with TV shows, I think it with books. Go out on a high. If your series still works and you're 26 books in, then you're amazing and that's awesome. I'll keep reading. But when they're not, know when to stop, right?
Yeah,
and I think that's the same with the TV shows. But the one that I would want to see a reboot of, I think about this a lot, is the Golden Girls. Not like a reboot of exactly how it was, but the concept of a group of older people, not even necessarily all women, but a group of older people living together. Like, I think like Morgan Freeman and Susan Sarandon and some like Angela Lansbury, like all living together. I would love that. Like, do that. Yeah. That would be so much fun. Like, I love in books too, I love older zany kind of like characters, like grandma characters, but that they're really like spunky and funny. I think I would love that reboot. I don't want it exactly like the other one though. Like, don't make it the same people, because those 4 women that played the Golden Girls can't be replaced. Like, don't try to do another Rose Nyland. Yeah. But that same concept I think would be amazing in today's contemporary, where you could do, all sorts of diverse characters or something like that. I would love that.
Yeah, definitely. Had the same issue with the Vinci Code.
Exactly.
Yeah, agree. Love Supernatural. Jared did a great job. He's not my favorite character on Supernatural, but I still like his character, and he did a great job at it. But I can't see him as Walker. I just can't. It doesn't fit. But yeah, like what you were saying, Tiffany. Like with Charmed, how they rebooted it, they didn't do it with the same people. They did it with like a new generation of Charmed 1 witches, a different show with the same concept, but still they didn't do it right, in my opinion. I mean, I think it could have been good. They had more diverse characters because they were all like Black or mixed characters, and one of them was a lesbian, so they had more diversity, which I did like. But yeah, a lot of the episodes and storylines basically were copying the original. Like on the new one, the youngest sister falls in love with a half demon who was trying to kill them, but then falls in love with her and ends up helping her. That's exactly what happened to Phoebe on Charmed, and they just redid it. Like,
gotcha.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's
gotcha.
My issue with that.
Is that going on now? Is the reboot for Charmed, is that current?
Yeah, it's still going on as far as I know.
I don't have cable. I mean, we have Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus, but we don't have any cable of any kind. So like, there are TV shows that I didn't even know existed out there. Like, I'll be watching them I'll try them out on Hulu or Netflix, and I'm like, these are really good. And I'll look and they'll be like, still going, and they're in like season 15 or something crazy, and I'm like, how did I miss 15 years of this show?
I don't have cable either. I have Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, and I recently got Peacock. Decided to give that a try. I also have CW, so that because they put it on the CW shows like on there like the day after they air, so I can still see it without waiting until Netflix or something. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We, like I said, we do Hulu, Netflix, and Disney Plus and ESPN. But I mean, because we're huge hockey fans, so we have to have some sort of sports network. The Peacock, I've been doing just like the free part of Peacock. Because it has all of the Murder, She Wrote episodes on there that I was talking about earlier. And so, but I only have the free service where you can, watch it with the ads, but that doesn't bother me.
Yeah. I know a little bit about Grace and Frankie, have seen it a little bit because my mom is a huge fan of it. Have you ever heard of it?
Does it have Lily Tomlin in it?
Yes.
Okay.
And the other girl from 9 to 5.
Okay. I've seen it advertised on Netflix, but I've never actually watched it. But if it reminds you of the Golden Girls, I'm going to tune in. I'm going to have to put it on my list because I love it.
It's basically about these two girls who I don't know if they were that close, but they didn't know each other for a long time. And their husbands decide to tell them that they are in love. So they end up, so they both are about to get divorces and they both have kids. And I think they end up living together. I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, it's on Netflix. Well, I like I said, yeah, I think it's been in my queue forever, but I'm gonna have to bump it up now that I know that it's like the Golden Girls because I love that. So thank you for that suggestion. It will definitely be something that I like I said bump up in my TBR. I had never watched Seinfeld when it was on. I don't know how, but I never watched Seinfeld when it was on.
No.
So I'm watching it right now on Hulu. But I will say, I think it's overhyped. It's not as good as I thought it would be. It's okay. I don't like dislike it. I don't hate it or anything like that. But I don't know what all the fuss was about either.
Yeah,
So
I have no desire to watch that.
yeah, I don't know. It's just I thought it would be better. Hulu has the Golden Girls. Yes. I own all of them, and so but I own them on DVD, and I don't really have a DVD player anymore. So I watch them at night on Hulu when I'm falling asleep because I've seen all of them so many times that I don't really need to watch them, but I like to have background noise, so I'll put them on to go to sleep too. Oh, I love them.
I like to have background noise too.
Yeah. I think Hulu and Netflix sometimes, like, I don't know if you do this or if you guys talking in the chat do this, but I tend to watch the same shows all the time, even like old shows, like over again, as opposed to watching new shows. Like, I'm pretty sure my Hulu and pretty sure my Hulu and Netflix want to ask me. They're like, "Do you know you've watched Friends 7 times?" I'm like, "Yes, I know, Hulu, that I've watched Friends 7 times. Now play."
Don't
Not really.
judge me. Don't judge me.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm pretty sure they want to ask me that because no matter what, even when I watch new shows, I'll watch like 2 or 3. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good. All right, I'm gonna go back to Gilmore Girls.
I like to watch new shows sometimes, but lately I've been doing a lot more rewatches.
Yeah.
And there's just some shows that I have seen a million times and it just never gets old. Like
Never.
I'm currently rewatching Supernatural. I haven't actually. I kind of at a standstill with Supernatural. I've seen all of them more than once, but this is not exactly my favorite season 6. So it's taking me a bit longer to get through it. And I've also been doing a lot more reading and watching booktubes. I'm trying to catch up with booktube. So, but yeah, so I love rewatching stuff.
So besides Supernatural, what are your like ones that you've watched over and over again? What are your shows that you've watched over and over again?
Let's see. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Charmed, Once Upon a Time, Pretty Little Liars, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Legend of Korra, and Julie and the Phantoms. Those are probably my top ones, but there are others that I've seen more than once that I love, like Friends and That 70s Show. So yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, Gisela said Murder, She Wrote. That's the reboot that she'd want to see. Oh my God, I would love that too. Now that I would like a reboot of too, because I just love that show. And it is the like definition of a cozy mystery. I love it.
Mm. After 40 years of marriage, they find out that their husbands have been living and having an affair, and they would move into their beach house together, and they pretty much hate each other's guts. Oh yeah, that's Grace and Frankie.
Okay. Oh no, that's funny. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to look into that. That's a pretty funny.
Yeah, my mom is a big fan of that. She's anticipating the next season.
I knew it was pretty popular, and I really liked Lily Tomlin in different things. I mean, I loved 9 to 5 when you said that. I know who the other actress is, but Lily Tomlin has been in a lot of different things that I've really liked.
Yeah.
That's a funny premise. Yeah, I read that what she put again, and I'm like, that's really funny.
Yeah. And it wasn't that bad. I watched it a little bit with my mom, and it wasn't that bad, you know. So.
Yeah, I'll have to definitely tune in.
You want to do another one at another sprint at 4:10?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. So you're almost done with your book. Happy about that?
Yeah, I am. I'm really getting through it fast. I'm at 87%. So I will definitely be finishing it very, very soon. Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
It's gonna take a little bit more than that for me. I mean, I'm getting a pretty good chunk done, but I still have quite a bit more to go. So
yeah, because you were really just starting it yesterday. So I mean, you really got a big chunk accomplished.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I like doing the reading sprints. I mean, the reading sprints are there's a lot of pros to them for like people's channels, for promoting your YouTube channel, and the the time that to do them is counted towards watch hour. I mean, there's a lot of good reasons to do the reading sprints, but more so than anything, they just make me really, really productive.
Yeah, same. And that first reading sprint I did with you last weekend was actually helped me get out of my first reading slump, and so
good.
that was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is really, really awesome.
Definitely.
And it's silly, but like I look forward to these too, just to have somebody other than my husband, who I love dearly. He's here, so hi, Kevin, I love you. I don't want he's in the same room as I don't want him, but other than him and going to work, I don't see anybody. I don't talk to. I mean, on the phone, I talk to my like Mima or my grandma or like my but I don't get to see a whole lot of people. I don't live in the same state as my mother, and so I don't hardly see anybody or have any talk to anybody. And so these are just like nice ways to have human interaction too.
Yeah, true. And you get to meet new people too with these,
Exactly.
So that's always good. Alrighty, it's 4:10. You ready for this?
I am.
Awesome. So we'll do another sprint, and then we'll come back in 20 minutes. So that'll be what, 4:30?
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Sounds good.
All right. Happy reading.
Yes. Enjoy. I was trying to see what percent I got to. I'm really close. Yeah,
That's
93.
great. Nice.
Yeah.
I think you'll finish real soon.
Yeah, I will. What about you?
Mine went pretty good. Still have quite a bit of way to go, but I think I'm almost halfway. So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. How did everybody else's sprint go?
Yeah, let's see. Are you guys all enjoying your books? I am. Are you, Tiffany?
Yeah, mine for sure. Mine is really, really good.
Sure.
Yep. Yep.
Well, that's good.
Yep. I'm going to be wrapping it up, and then I'm going to start that winery book that I was talking about, I think.
Nice. Sounds fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's 6 books in this series. The first one is The Alchemist, then The Magician, which is the one I'm now reading, then The Sorceress, then The Necromancer, then The Warlock, and then the Enchantress is the last one.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get through all of them in February?
Yeah, let's see how that goes. I'm probably going to fail, but
You're doing you're going through that one pretty quick.
True. These sprints do help also.
What is today's date? Oh, it's the 21st. So you have 1 week.
I think I could do it if I do a lot of reading after work this week. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see. I mean, yeah, it's going to be a lot of reading, but I think that you definitely, can do it.
Yeah.
I don't know that. Yeah, that's a lot. Interesting.
I'll try. I'm not guaranteeing anything. As long as I get most of the series done, I think I'll be okay with that too.
Yeah. So, and then you said you plan on reading a series by another author?
Yes. Nancy Ann. This is the second book in her series, and she said I think she's almost ready to publish the third one as well. And the first one left off at a cliffhanger, but since I already started this series, I wanted to finish this before I got to that. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see how that plays out. So we have someone else here, book enthusiast.
Hello, book enthusiast.
Glad you could join us.
Yes, very glad. Please tell us what you're reading.
Yes, we'd love to know.
You made me think of something when you were talking about the book that you were just talking about. So do you like when books end on a cliffhanger, or how do you feel about that?
I mean, I think most readers could say that. I don't think anyone really hates it, but at the same time, it can be annoying because then you want to know what happens, and if you can't get the book right away, then it's like, I want to know what happens. But it keeps you on your toes too. I love writing cliffhangers. My first book and second book have both left off at a cliffhanger, so I love writing them. But
I love cliffhangers in books, except the one exception to the rule, because I was like, wait, what was, I really like cliffhangers because I think it, gives you something to look forward to. And it's a good ploy for the author to bring people back in. And I like anticipating a next read.
Yeah.
Except I read, I know there's always that, but right. But I read one romance book that ended on a cliffhanger. I was like, no, I did not like that. I was like, romances need to be wrapped up. Like, they're a formula. Like, here it is. They meet, They get to know each other. They the chemistry happens, whatever. They get together. There's that pivotal moment where, something happens that tries their relationship and whether they're going to be able to weather the storm and stay together. And then you have the happily ever after. The end. That's a romance. Stick with it. I was like, what? What are you talking about? A cliffhanger? There can't. No, I did not like that. But in general, I usually do.
Yeah. Gisela says she almost finished one more chapter. Way to go.
Nice. Good job.
And are those by JK as well? No, actually, this is by Michael Scott. But it's about a Harry Potter character, Nicholas Flamel. And they mention the Sorcerer's Stone a few times. So it is a spin-off, but by a different author. Talks by Jim Butcher, The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. Nice. I've heard of The Final Empire. I haven't read it though, but I've heard the name.
Yeah, I haven't heard of either of those. So interesting. Oh, Peace Talks, or what Giselle said, what is Peace Talks about? Yes. Give us a little synopsis, book enthusiast. Ooh, it's the 16th book.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. Wow. All right. The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. Okay.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
And so, book enthusiasts, we were talking to everybody else in the chat and other people in the chat as they were coming in and out. And what is your general go-to? What type of book do you like to, genres do you like to read?
We'd love to know.
If I have the next book in hand, I love clipping. Gisela, I can relate to that completely. Now, that is something too. That's why I was talking earlier about I'm in the middle of a series that I have to wait till March 1st to read, and it's like killing me. So I feel that.
Yeah, I mean, with the book I'm going to read after this series, when I read the first book, it left it off at a cliffhanger, a couple cliffhangers technically, and then I finally got the next book, and I'm intrigued to finally read it and see what the heck happened.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Oh. That's interesting. Okay.
Nice. My go-to is fantasy.
And my go-to is mystery, but cozy mystery and romance. So a little bit of both there, book enthusiasts. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying your books.
So I was trying to think, so that book tag that I was telling you about. So I told you it went from what was your comfort to what book would you want to be buried with? And I was like, I told you, I was like, wow, that escalated quickly. But
yeah,
gosh, I'm like, I don't know. I think I have other more important things to worry about. I love books, but I think I have other things that I'm thinking about if I'm, just experiencing the afterlife for the first time. But having said that, what do you think would be your? I think I know your answer going to be just because I've talked to you enough to know. But what series, if you had to pick one, would you want to be buried with? I don't know why that's a question, but it was on the book tag, so let's discuss it.
Seekers. Is that any surprise?
It's not. I actually, as I was saying it, I was like, oh my gosh, I know the answer to this.
I might be a tad obsessed. I love that so much.
I think that's awesome.
How about you guys who's watching? Is there a book you guys want to be buried with? Which book?
Such a weird question. Like, especially if people were just coming into the chat, they're like, what? What are these people talking about? Or that's how I would be like, I missed.
Me too.
An important key part of the conversation.
Earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But that is a way to escalate a conversation fast. What's your comfort book? What book would you want to be buried in?
I'm like, how that yeah, how did we go from A to like I feel like that was it, like from A to, J. Like
Yeah.
let's do a little warm up there in between.
Codex Alera by Jim Butcher. Never heard of that.
Okay. I haven't either.
Is it good? Do you like it? Obviously, if you want to be buried with it.
True.
I don't think you would want to be
True.
buried with a book you don't like.
So you said you created what kind of tags? I know you've done them. You've created some.
See, I know offhand I created the Supernatural one and the Monster High one. I could go on my YouTube channel and find out what other ones, because I can't think of them all offhand. There's just so many. I haven't created a lot, but I've created a few.
That's awesome. I don't know enough about Supernatural. I've actually never seen any episodes of Supernatural. I know what it is.
You have to.
I know what it is, and I mean, but I don't know really anything about it. The first book is very so-called, and it's about people being able to control the elements.
I love that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, one of my favorite series is the Effigies Trilogy. It's about 4 girls, and each one of them can control a different element. So, yeah, definitely like that.
What was that called that you were just talking about?
Effigies Trilogy.
Who is it by?
I don't remember the author's name.
That's okay. I'm sure I can find it. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it follows the main character, who's the fire effigy, and she's the next one, because like when one dies, a new one is called, and they have to fight phantoms, and usually they all work separately, but then this huge threat comes, and they all have to be thrown together in this fight. So, not to mention there's deceit and stuff, so that's fun.
Yeah, I
was looking at my videos I've done so far, and I have them all in like playlists, so they're easier to find. And my book tags, I've done 25 of them.
Holy moly!
Apparently, yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to find which ones I've created. The Supernatural book tag I created. Let's see. The Scary Godmother book tag, right? I created that one too.
What is it?
Scary Godmother book tag. Have you ever seen those movies?
I don't. Well, I don't know. What is that? What they're called? Scary Godmother movies?
They're called Scary Godmother. Yeah, there's 2 of them. They're really good. They're animated, but they're really good, and I like them.
Yeah.
And I created the Monster High book tag too. So, yeah.
Awesome.
And I have some more I've created. I just haven't filmed yet.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a really creative thing to do, is create those book tags. People, yeah, and the readathon, we talked about that. The readathons that people create, and the TBR games, just all of it is so creative.
Yeah. Last October, I was in my first readathon. It was called the Trick or Treatathon, and last month, I think it was, I found out that there was also a Monster High readathon going on at that time, and I did not know. And I was like, oh my gosh, how did I not know about this? I want to be a part of that. But then apparently they're going to do it again next October. And I was actually talking to the person who made it, and she asked if I wanted to help with prompts and stuff. And I said, sure. And then once we finished making the prompts for next October, she asked if I wanted to be a co-host. I was like, yes.
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
love Monster High. Yeah, definitely.
That's really cool. Oh, Catch-22. Okay. Yeah. Do you read classics?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Not
at all.
I mean, I did in school when I had to, but they're not my go-to anymore. I don't know. I I just want to read for fun, and so I don't know that
Yeah, me
I
too.
always associate those with the fun. Not that there can't be a classic that I wouldn't enjoy or find fun, but I think the majority. But
Yeah, I'm just not into classics.
I've heard of Catch-22. I took a novels class, but that wasn't one that we read. We read a bunch of the other classics like The Great Gatsby and Lord of the Flies, and
I've never read any of those. I was never
One Day in the Life of
Finish.
Ivan Denisovich, and I mean just a bunch of the different the Scarlet Letter, The Grapes of Wrath, which was terrible and horrific. I did not like that at all.
Wow.
Most of them I liked, actually. You know,
really?
when I got, I mean, it was for a class, and and so I read them, but I did like the majority of them, except for The Grapes of Wrath. The Grapes of Wrath, the first like 2.5 chapters, which were long chapters, you followed a piece of dust. I mean, literally like a piece of dust, because it was like the Dust Bowl. And I was like, this is the most absurd thing in the world. And especially at 16, I'm like, no.
I was never forced to really read any classics in school. We didn't really do that. So I'm glad about that. So I never read any of those. Most people say they read like Little Women or Lord of the Flies at school. I was like, I never read any of that. So
oh yeah, we had an entire semester where it was all novels. I mean, there was a bunch of them. The Count of Monte Cristo, just a bunch.
Book Enthusiast is that series about these supernatural worlds coming together. Do you need Codex Alera or distant files?
Yeah, I don't know. Supernatural worlds coming together. I don't know which series. Maybe not. Maybe neither. I don't know. We'll have to get the answer from Book Enthusiast. So what is the weather there today?
I haven't really been outside. I mean, there was like several days, a good week or so, that it was like snowing a lot and stuff. And I know yesterday there was still plenty of snow on the ground, but it wasn't snowing anymore. And it wasn't like several feet of snow. Some of it had melted, but there was still plenty there. So.
Yeah, I think it says it's low 70s here. So, pretty drastic difference probably. I know I called my mom who lives in Arcola yesterday, and she's like, it's actually 19, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, that's high compared to, what it's been. And I'm like, it's 70 here. She's like, whatever. But you like the cold, right? You like the cold weather.
I do.
Is there a certain point where you don't, though? Is there a certain point where you're like, this is too cold?
I mean, if it gets really cold, then I'll get on under covers or something. But honestly, I can get really hot really fast, even in the cold. So when it does get cold, I'm like, as long as I'm not hot, I'm okay.
Gotcha. Let us know in the chat where you guys are from too, just out of curiosity. Yeah. I'm in Florida now. I grew up in Illinois, but I'm in Florida as of now.
And I am in Illinois. This is where I grew up. I did live in Florida for a few years before I moved back. Which is funny. We were talking about that when we found out with the other Tiffany. We were all like, you both grew up in Illinois, moved to Florida. I grew up in Illinois, moved to Florida, moved back. And it's just hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk about a small world. Exactly. Especially you and I being so close to each other in Illinois is really incredible.
Yeah. And didn't you say you moved there in 2019?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's around the time I moved back to Illinois. So that's funny.
Oh, Book Enthusiast is from Nevada. Okay. Awesome.
Do you like where you live, or do you ever want to leave? I don't want to leave again. I like Illinois. I think that's an unpopular opinion, but I like it.
Yeah. And yeah. I was ready to leave Illinois.
Catch-22 cracks me up the whole way. It's like reading an adult Amelia Bedelia book.
Oh.
I've never read that author, but that's nice. Yeah, the book Tiffany's reading also cracks her up, so.
Yes, for sure.
Book enthusiast likes where he lives.
Nice. Well, I mean, I've been to Vegas, so I've been in Nevada. That's the only place I've been in Nevada is Las Vegas, but yeah, I'm sure most people. Well, maybe you live in Vegas. I don't know what part of Nevada you live in, but it was definitely fun to visit. I wouldn't want to live there. Not necessarily Nevada. Not necessarily not want to live in Nevada, but definitely not like in Vegas. But that's just because of, that would get old really fast. And I would probably be poor because I would be like going to the casino or something like that. So it's probably not a good place for me. That's funny. I might have to look into the Catch-22 then. That's an interesting comparison. Adult Amelia Bedelia. It's funny.
Yeah, I've never read Amelia Bedelia.
I have. So that's
Well, it's always good to enjoy the book you're reading.
Do you DNF books?
My series. Yes. I usually give it a good halfway in the middle because sometimes it does take that long to really get interesting, So I always give it until at least that far. But if I'm not enjoying it, I don't see the point to keep reading it because, I have so many books I want to read that I might actually enjoy. So what's the point to keep reading? Force yourself to read a book that you're not enjoying.
Yep. I'm about the exact same. I don't know if I necessarily go halfway, but I go past like where we're starting it to get into a plot. Because I understand that the first bit you're introducing characters, you're setting the scene, all that. But after that, where you're starting to get plot driven, if I'm not getting into it after a couple chapters, when that's occurring, I'm done. I'm out. There's just too many other books. I used to not. I used to never DNF. I just didn't like it. Because I always had this fear. This is so silly, but I always had this fear. I'm like, what if there's this huge spin or like twist that like totally would have made the book the most amazing thing on earth? But like that never happened. Like when I forced myself to read them, it never happened. There was never this big twist that like made it this amazing book. So I was like, no, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah, definitely. Nice.
Oh, she's thinking about reading that series that Book Enthusiast is reading. That's awesome. You really should. It's really good. Awesome.
I mean, if it's fantasy, maybe I'll check it out too.
That's the one about the wizard detective, I think. Or maybe not. Maybe that's the other one that they were talking about. I'm not sure.
He was talking about two. I want to read the one that he was talking about with the elements because that was interesting.
Gotcha.
Because that's kind of my thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. You want to start another sprint at 5:00?
Yeah, sounds good. This will probably be my last sprint so I can make supper.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Have that be the last one. Awesome.
And I'm at 93%. So for me, it's perfect because I'll definitely finish my book.
Yeah, yay. Or it's for 4:55 right now. We could go ahead and start it.
Yeah, that's on the money. We can end at quarter after. Live in Florida most my life. I'm in Florida too. Yay. From New York. Okay. Cool.
Nice.
I moved to Florida in 2019. So excellent.
Okay, so we'll start another sprint and be done at 5:15. How does that sound?
Sounds good. I'll talk to you then. Happy reading,
All right.
everyone.
You too. How'd your sprints go?
Mine was good. I did. I finished that book and I started, I mean, I only got about 5 minutes into the next one, but I started another one. So I did really good today.
Yay! Nice. Progress.
Exactly. How about you?
I did good. Yeah, I think I'm halfway now. So yay, I did pretty good too.
Yeah, the last couple of days has been really good for you. You've read a lot.
Yeah. This is a pretty chunky book too. So definitely.
Mhm.
So Gisela said, I hate to DNF. I have stopped book series in the middle if it's not going anywhere. Yeah. I don't like to DNF either because it means you're not enjoying a book that you
Exactly.
thought you were going to. But I still rather DNF than keep reading something that I'm just not enjoying.
I'm exact same way.
Yeah.
I'm the exact same way. So, well, guys, thank you for joining us, Miss Johara. I think
It was
that I have to
fun.
feed my husband very soon. So,
That's okay. I need to get dinner too for myself.
yeah. For you guys, we are going to
That's
be
great,
doing
Gisela.
oh yeah, finish the chapter. Nice. That is awesome. We're going to be doing myself, Johara, and Tiffany from Masquerade Chick is going to be doing a live sprint on my channel, The Beach Bum Bookworm, on Friday, this coming Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So
And
please join us there.
Yes, I'm hoping to do another one on Sunday. I was thinking about making this a weekly thing.
Yeah.
Now that I have this all figured out, I was thinking about noon my time, if that works for you. If you
Yeah.
want to join. And
Yeah,
I'll see if
that's
Tiffany wants to join too.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think that that's kind of what we're thinking is we can kind of rotate over the weekend who
Yeah.
hosts. Because for me, the weekend is really the only time I have available. But yeah, and like Tiffany hosted, and then just kind of keep rotating. I think that is the best way to do it. I think that sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for joining me.
All right, guys. We'll see you later. And thank you, Johara. It was so much fun. Bye, everyone.
See ya. Thanks for joining.